are firmly in the AV1 camp because of the royalty-free nature of it and the broad support that it's going to have, and they're going to finalize it pretty soon, and then the market's going to be flooded with AV1 solutions. So we're going to be right there supporting AV1 streaming as soon as it's supported by streaming providers. AV1 codec that's supposed to be better than H.265 has been standardized. AV1 is the new codec moving forward that everybody is going to support in the future for live streaming. So we're waiting for that to be available on NVIDIA cards, and we will provide that as an additional option for streaming.
Here's Heath's favorite question.
Is AV1 next codec for streaming platforms? When will be no vMix? AV1 is a very good codec for streaming, so we are following it closely. That's for sure.
So we are finally here after that.
Well, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are.
AV1 and AV1 being the next big thing, and AV1 being done, and
just
AV1
a little
being
clip from last week's
available.
vMix Fun Time live show.
vMix 27. The plan is to have AV1 encoding
in true
for
vMix
streaming
fashion.
And what that means is that hopefully we'll be able to get a lower bit rate to the same quality as what you're doing now with H.264 or H.265 or that type of thing. So AV1 should allow you to use less bandwidth to get the same quality.
Codec for live streaming.
So that's kind of the basics of it. There's a lot more that goes into that, but that's kind of the gist of what AV1 will provide. Now, over the years, we've kind of been waiting and waiting and waiting, and now that we have graphics cards like NVIDIA 4000 series and
in a lot of ways this is similar
Intel Arc
to
cards
the,
that have AV1 encoding on them.
Questions
it's now become a little bit more mainstream, and now we have YouTube accepting AV1 live streams. It kind of has opened things up a little bit more, so we're able to hopefully have this in vMix 27 as an alpha. So I'm running vMix 27
the
today.
Technology's just not there
as an alpha, and we are currently streaming to YouTube.
The underlying
7 megabit with AV1.
Enough
so we're currently streaming at AV1 to YouTube now. The
The
unfortunate thing is, at the moment, that's 2023, the whole pipeline isn't there for AV1. So because we're streaming to YouTube in AV1 doesn't mean that you're actually watching it in AV1.
Ahead of the game.
So the last mile back to the viewers and that type of thing, it's not AV1, but getting it to YouTube is. So that's kind of the main thing, because you're using less bandwidth, which is what's important to somebody that's struggling for that type of thing. So that's what we're currently doing today. 7 megabit.
It was a great way to have that option, and I won't say that they've done it again, but they've done it again. It's a technology that's ripe and ready. And so, I think they're ready to implement it. Obviously, they've been playing with it long enough to get it to work. You saw, I don't know if you saw much in the video I just played, because it was really videos within videos. But if you'll go back and watch that show, you just see that it seems pretty bulletproof so far. There were no glitches, and YouTube took it. So anyway, that's what we're going to talk about today is vMix 27 and AV1. And I have some props. And we're going to demonstrate live how AV1 will work probably within vMix. Let's see here. Hang on a second. OG gamers. Been testing it. Oh, okay. All right. And there's another stream. I got rid of that. Yep. I got rid of that. I forgot it was there. AV1 is not gonna fix that. So tell me, how have you been testing AV1? Have you been testing it at encoding or decoding? I was looking, Tim referenced the Intel Arc GPU that's out there that has AV1 built into it, baked into it. And those cards, it's a GPU. They're $250, $300. So that's pretty interesting if that's the case. it will be interesting to see if those cards are reliable and if they indeed have what AV1 needs to act as an encoder and not just a decoder. So yeah. Well, we all have that problem from time to time. Some of us are behind, some of us are behind. Anyway, no, it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to get my hands on a version, a beta of vMix 27 so that I can test it. But in the meantime, yeah, I've got, how are we doing? We got a few more minutes till showtime, so I won't pull out my props quite yet. But suffice to say, today will be an epic broadcast that you will want to have been able to say, I remember seeing that live when that first came out. Yeah. So there we go. All right, encoding and streaming with OBS and XSplit, and can get you an ASRock A770 12 gigabyte OC card for $299. There you go. That's the thing. That's going to be the thing. Because not everybody is going to be able to accept an AV1 stream. Now, YouTube, Facebook, they appear to be lined up to have that as a stream. Hello, Joe. Glad to have you. But, for folks that are doing, let's say a Sunday morning church that wants to stream to YouTube, Facebook, and sermon.net. Is sermon.net going to be set up to do an AV1 stream? Are you going to be able to choose which codecs go with which streams? Are you going to have to do an AV1 stream to Facebook and an AV1 stream to YouTube, and then a 264.264 or .265 stream to sermon.net? Because sermon.net won't accept an AV1 because they're not geared up for it. Does that mean you need to have two video cards? An NVIDIA that's going to be able to handle the 264, 265, and an Intel Arc card, or the AMD RX 6000, or the one that OG Gamer just mentioned. What was that? The A770. What's it going to shape out as? Will vMix be able to use this Intel Arc card, this GPU card, to do streaming besides AV1? I tell you, if that's the case, or if that's the case, if it can go both ways, then that's going to be a killer deal. Or in a case like me, where I am only streaming to YouTube right now, I'm recording. I might post it up somewhere else, but the idea is I'm going to stream maybe just AV1 from here on out. I'll ditch my $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 NVIDIA card and get a $250 Intel card. Is this going to be a good deal? Is this going to bring high quality live streaming into the price range of just about anybody? OG says, good question, because Restream.io was having issues with AV1 a few weeks ago. And it's probably the same with everybody that's just starting out with something new. You've got a learning curve. You've got what the book says, you've got what experts have told you, and then you've got real life. And real life is so sometimes there are factors out there that you don't either anticipate or are aware of that impacts what's going on in your circumstance. And so, yeah, there's going to be a lot of a lot of people paying for their education, and they're going to pay for their education in pain. Not physical pain. Well, maybe physical pain, but but it's going to be the pain of failure The pain of, we're rolling out something new and it didn't work. Ugh. I remember a while back, there was somebody that rolled out a new live streaming network for football season. And I don't know, they had maybe 20 contributors, 20 schools, maybe 30 schools, and it crashed. They didn't anticipate the amount of data that they were getting, and it just flat out crashed, and it was a disaster. I mean, they recovered from it eventually, of course, but it was a disaster. So Joe says there are issues with DX9 and Intel GPUs, which will probably mean no. Okay. All right. So it's sole source. I mean, it's sole function. Will that be a case? You know how vMix says don't have two graphics cards because it actually slows down the processing of vMix, processing the graphics. So will that apply in this case? Can we have an NVIDIA card and an AV1 card simultaneously? I'm going to test that when I get a chance. OG says the DX9 issues are almost gone. Haven't heard any issues in any of my games or workflow using the ARC. Well, there you go. And I use an RX 3090 Ti and replaced it with an A770 and didn't miss the 3090 Ti. Wow. Wow. That's not what I would expect. Huh. But interesting. So you replaced an ASRock A770 for $300 in place of a 3090 Ti. Really? Are you just saying that? Oh my gosh, that's going to be great. That's going to be great. I am going to have to order one of those suckers. I mean, so what you're saying is essentially you can make that upgrade now and you won't know the difference. We'll have to check. I mean, not everybody, but folks tend to have unique setups, hardware and software, and also have unique workflows. Somebody may be using a lot of videos, somebody may be using a lot of PowerPoint, somebody else may be using a lot of YouTube, somebody else using a lot of vMix Call, somebody else using a lot of NDI. So it just kind of depends on what your big use is and how it could be. Joe says there'll be some overhead by the PCIe transfer between the cards, but nothing horrendous with it only being YV12 frames. I wish I understood that. Joe's going to have to explain that one to me later. OG's got the videos up on his channel. There you go. Give us the URL to your channel. Generally, we block URLs, but let me keep an eye out for that one when it comes in, and I'll make sure it comes in. Give us your YouTube channel, or just spell it out. One of the two. What the heck? Spell it out. I'm surprised. I'm surprised that you didn't miss the 3090 Ti. Holy cow. There could be a good, well, temporarily anyway, there might be a good temporary market for lightly used 3090 Ti's. Gee, me. Okay, let's see. Let's get rid of that. Let's go back there. There we are. Okay, I think we're coming up to showtime here. So getting ready for the purple button. And remember, you saw this show live. This is going to be one of those epic kind of shows that you'll say, that show was cool, but I saw it live. Oh, and it's live with the X-Keys XK80 and the purple button. Ready for the purple button? Here we go. Ta-da! Well, that was good. Apparently, I had something set up from last week, and it wasn't working. Hold on a second here. There we go. There we go. Okay, sorry. I had some junk I was supposed to get rid of and did not. So here's the deal. Live show today. We're talking about, what are we talking about? We're talking about AV1. We're talking about vMix 27. We're talking about AV1 being in vMix 27. You will probably have an opportunity, if you're in Europe and going to IBC, to see vMix 27, like next week, is it? Or the week after, whenever IBC is. So got distracted by Joe in the chat. He's thank you, Joe. Go to IBC. Take pictures, take video of vMix 27 and send them to me. I want to see it again. I want to see what's different, what's new, what does it run slower or faster or whatever. 20 years from today, you'll remember you saw this show. Probably not, but anyway. All right. So here's the deal. AV1, a new codec. What's a codec? I don't know what a codec is. It's a thing. It's a thing that takes big video and makes it into less big video. It squashes it. I think the technical word is compresses, but anyway, it takes something that's this big and makes it this big. Now, it doesn't do it for free. There's some effort to do this. Some horsepower is used somewhere to do that. All right, keep that in mind. We're using horsepower to make big into manageable. And then we're going to take this manageable stuff and we're going to shove it into a pipe. And sorry, this full screen video is driving me nuts. There we go. So we're going to take manageable and we're going to shove it into a pipe. And we're going to keep shoving and shoving and shoving and shoving. And it's going to come out the other end. And it's going to show up at your place. Yeah, that's exactly how it works. Nothing else happens to the video along the way. Yeah, it gets processed multiple times. But the idea is that the codec makes big video more manageable. Well, the deal with AV1 is that in addition to making big video more manageable, using a little bit of horsepower, it makes big video even more manageable by making it even smaller, but again, using some horsepower from somewhere. And I've got an illustration for this in just a second. Well, let me just show you right now. All right, so I went to our local tech store where you can get essential tools for technology, and I got some Tom's bugles. In fact, not only did I get 1 bag, but I got 4 bags just in case one wasn't enough. And you say, number one, why, Tom, why would you have your own bugles? I don't know. They were just there. It was great. It was perfect. And so the idea with the bugles is that the bugles represent, you see that little bugle right there? Bugle represents video. Not bad. Video data. And the idea that we want to get the video to go down this pipe right here. So we're going to take the, let me get this here. We're going to take the bugle, the data, and we're going to put it down this pipe, right? But it doesn't fit very well. I mean, we get a buffer overflow, right? All right, so let's put the video back into the camera. Got bugles going everywhere. All right, so that was our uncompressed video. So now we're going to compress it a little bit. Take a little horsepower and we're going to compress our video. Make sure all the video is compressed to the same size. All right. And now we'll get our pipe back. Let's see how we do. Well, not bad. Got stuck in the pipe. So that was, let's say that was 4K 60 going down a 14 meg pipe, which is what I have here. Sometimes there are little hiccups. So with AV1, my hope is when it comes time to compressing it, that AV1 is really going to compress it. Now, it's going to require extra horsepower. It also may require a little extra time. There may be a little latency there. Hold on. That look good? Oh, okay. So let's try now. So now we're going to take our 4K video, 4K 60, and we're going to take our 14. Actually, this is a 20 meg pipe, but I'm only using 14 of it, but it doesn't always fit that well anyway. So let's see about now. If I had a funnel, this would work better. But as you can see, everything fits nicely in the pipe. In fact, there's nothing left. Pretty cool, huh? All right, so that's the, what a mess. Holy cow. That's the promise, that we can take big video and compress it, which we're already doing. We're actually compressing it a lot. Maybe, I don't know, 15 to 1 ratio, maybe 20 to 1 ratio. And then with AV1, we're going to compress it some more, or we're going to compress it more than we do with HEVC. So the idea is we might be able to take bigger video and put it in a bigger pipe. So let's say we wanted to take more video, or we'll just say that let's just say you can't hear me over that, can you? Let's just say we processed all that and Joe, you can't go out and get a drink. That's the moral of this story. All right. So we're going to take bigger video. We're going to compress it. This is AV1 taking, oh, I don't know, maybe like, I'm getting a message here. I'm trying. Did I accidentally hit something on the screen? Hold on. vMix says, please stop all recordings and streams before closing. Oh, I didn't mean to close anything. So let me be careful with the keyboard and the mouse. We'll get those out of the way of all these streams that we've got going on here. All right, so we now have an 8K stream that we're going to set down a bigger pipe. And let's say this is a 50 meg pipe. So now we're going to take our 8 meg stream, and it goes in because we've taken, sorry, not 8 meg, 8K. We've taken our 8K video and we've squashed it down to a reasonable size that will allow us to fit in a bigger pipe. So the idea is too many props, too many chips, too many crumbs. The idea is that we'll be able to do one of two things, and we might do both, but we can take whatever we're doing right now and do it more efficiently. Or if we're doing something now that we're just not as happy as we would like to be with, and let's say we want to do it back. Well, let's take the situation in my church for a second. And we're doing, it's an old PC I built way back when I gave to the church. I think it's got a Intel 2nd generation CPU in it, an i7 2600K. I think we may have overclocked it just a tweak. And, 16 gigs of RAM, solid state drives, all that kind of stuff. But the CPU is old. Oh, and the GPU is it's an NVIDIA 750 Ti. And we are live streaming 1080p 60 to YouTube and 720p, whatever, probably 60 to Facebook, and using, I don't know, 30% CPU. So if we were to say we wanted to go up to 4K, let's say we had a 4K camera there, that's going to be 4 times as much video. But if we use the AV1 codec, it's going to be interesting to see, what the relationship is between a, H.264 encoded stream and an AV1 encoded stream in terms of what the amount of additional compression you get. Is it half the size? I was watching a video a little while ago where it said that Netflix, and this is on the streaming side, the streaming to destination side, or the destination. Hell, let me just start all over again. Sorry. Netflix says that when they started using AV1, they had a 20% reduction in the bandwidth use. And so that means that whatever people were watching, they were getting the same quality, but it was 20% less bandwidth. So there's a 20% savings. Not going to be a 50% savings, not going to be an 80% savings, a 20% savings. So am I going to be able to do 4K 60? Probably not. But I might be able to do a third stream, or I might be able to do, actually, see, the bandwidth at the church is not the limiting factor. We've got like 300 up. The bandwidth here in my studio is a limiting factor. I've got 20 up. And I'm using 4K, I'm using 14 megabits per second of the 20. My bit rate today is 14 megs. So, yeah. All that chip stuff just wore me out. I got to have a drink. It's just not a drink. It's a Coke. So And by the way, I have an unopened bag, actually 2 unopened bags of Tom's bugles. I'm going to save one. If you would like one of these, if you'll send me an email, tom@easternshorebroadcasting.com with your address, the first person to send me an email will have this sent to you as a commemoration of this entire broadcast. Of course, you may not want to remember it. So to recap, the idea is that AV1 is going to allow vMix to take video that was this big and make it this big instead of using HEVC or H.264 and take video that's this big and make it this big. Now, this is not to scale. Just want to make sure you knew that. The question becomes, if you don't have one of these graphics cards that has the AV1 chip on it, or whatever the cards are going to have on them, an encoding, or it's probably a decoding chip, or does it go both ways? I mean, here's the question I don't know the answer to. But the idea is, if you don't have one of those cards, what's going to have to happen in your computer to be able to use AV1? Are you going to have to ramp up your CPU and get more horsepower? Or is whatever horsepower you already have available you're going to need more? You're going to have a bigger CPU if you can't have this card. Well, if the card is only $300, I wouldn't be trading out my CPU. I'd go get the card. But so much that we have to find out, so much that we have to learn. If you happen to get a copy of vMix 27, like on a thumb drive or something like that, I will pay big bucks to whoever sends one to me. You know who you are. I mean, big bucks, like you might get a bag of chips. I mean, bugles, excuse me. Tom's original bugles. There's the original right there. So you know it's good. All right, let's flip over to the post show. Be right back. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can catch up with the chat here. Catching up with the chat. Oh my gosh. Got too many chips in the way to see what's going on here. Okay. There we go. That's where we were looking for. All right. So Joe mentioned there will be some overheat. So we were talking about having 2 cards in the same PC. There you go. Where were you when Tom did his famous bugles illustration? That's right. So John's going to IBC. Good. Get a good look at vMix 27. In fact, why don't you get a good look at vMix 27, then come be on the show the next week? There you go. Don't think I'm not watching you, OG. Oh. Speaking of remembering where you were for dinner, Marie, do you remember that dinner that you and Jan and Sandy and I had at that castle outside? Then we moved inside because it was too cold. Oh, that was the best. It was a Kodak moment. That's right. I thought of getting mixed nuts, Jan. I just thought that would have been the best, but I didn't have a nut cruncher, a nut splitter. Yeah. Oh well. Next time. They were one of the first. And the guy that invented it just got poo-pooed on by everybody above him. Yep. I almost got Cheez-Its, Rich, and I walked around the corner, and these guys jumped off the shelf at me. So the Cheez-Its just left my mind at that point. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. This is a bona fide business expense. Well, yeah, because I'm going to keep a bag for old time's sake, and I'm going to send somebody a bag. And then the others here, yeah, I think the mice can get them. We better read the label. Ingredients: degermed yellow cornmeal. Ooh, thank goodness they took the germs out. Vegetable oils, corn, canola, sunflower, and/or safflower. Salt, sugar, one of my favorite ingredients, and sodium bicarbonate. It contains bioengineered food ingredients, including canola, corn, and sugar from genetically modified crops. Best if used by the date on the package, which was 4 days ago. September 2nd, it says. So we got to them just in time. Holy cow. But they don't appear to be encrypted. Yeah, let's do that. That was going to be great. Well, I'm going to get one. But right now, I don't have, vMix 26, the version that I have, which is version .45, that doesn't have AV1 as an option anywhere. I mean, it doesn't exist. So we'll have to wait. Hello, Martin. What about the eating experience of all those highly compressed bugles? Well, they're kind of like dirt right now. Ugh. Don't think we'll do that. I think we'll throw those away. It's going to take a lot of time and glue to decompress that video. Yeah, I don't know that you'd want it when it got into the other end, but we're just talking about the compression part of it. It's up to somebody else. It's up to YouTube or somebody else to handle the other end of it. I mean, if they can't handle a high quality stream like this, then YouTube is not worth its weight in salt. So yeah. Joe, you missed the magic. That's all I can say. I wish, Rich, I actually went to the Marathon station, which is right next door, and I bought every single bag of these. They thought I was crazy. Oh, I didn't know how many I was going to need. I didn't know how many times I was going to have to demonstrate this before you guys would finally catch on. Actually, Marie, that's not true. I can get in just as much trouble in a group. Oh, goodness gracious. Let's see. What else did we miss? Oh, I hadn't thought about that. There you go. You can get in trouble pretty quickly around here. Ah, there's a good question. I think we answered it already, but the big guys, Rit, the big guys, YouTube, Facebook, Netflix is using it for delivery. As Tim mentioned in the YouTube Fun Time Live Show video last week, he said they were using AV1 to encode and send to YouTube. And then he suggested that, and you can do this live here if you want to. They suggested that you do the stats for nerds, and that's depending on where you're watching. Either there's a setting button up here or down here that allows you, and maybe a right click thing. Again, it just depends on how you're watching, and you can check the stats for this particular video right now. It's called Stats for Nerds. So I did that for his show, and it showed that they were using VP9, I think, to send it to me. It was AV1 up to YouTube, and then it was VP9, VP9 to me. So, but I think we'll find more and more people, more and more, kind of second tier, third tier folks using AV1 because of the bandwidth savings on the outbound video. I mean, on the video, on the destination video, destination to the end user. Because if somebody's sending, 3,000 streams and they can save 20% of the bandwidth, that's a big deal. Means they don't need as many pipes or whatever. What can I say? All right, OG's got some stats for us. He recorded a 4K stream, rendered it out using H.264, rendered the same video out in AV1, and it was like 500 megs. Would have to go rewatch the video to get the exact number. Well, what was it out? What was the size with H.264? Correct. It's like a soap opera around here. Yeah, all I could see now, all it takes is food. Yep, food. Hey, Dave. But often good after. Yep. I would have loved to. But there were just too many things going on this year. All right, OG says YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch so far that he knows of. What was somebody else mentioned? Something else. It'll come to me. Glad you're here. Better late than not at all, Gunner. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me that the second tier people are going to really be interested in it. One, because of the savings on bandwidth, and two, because it doesn't require any licensing. It's an open source thing. It was created by the what's it called? The AO Media. that's a group of big tech folks, the Alliance for Open Media, and includes, probably includes YouTube and Twitter and Twitch and Netflix and all the others. Probably will include the sports networks. Certainly they are interested in it. I didn't mention it earlier, but I was going to impress you guys that the AV1 incorporates a technology that's called block-based frequency transformation. Just so you know, I knew. So there. Oh, wow. Let me put this together for you here. Where's the rest of it? "4K stream rendered out in H.264 at 9 times better than H.264. 500 versus 4,500. Rough numbers. That's pretty cool. There you go, Dave. My son and daughter-in-law told me that they used to have heated discussions about finances, and then they started texting back and forth about finances, and it really pulled a lot of the emotion out of it, and made finances just finances. And so now we have not only grocery shopping from Denmark, or is it Sweden? Swedes in Denmark or Danes in Sweden? I think it's Swedes in Denmark. Anyway, not only are they shopping for groceries, they're shopping for laptops. So, yeah, kind of like texting, but it's just, out where everybody can see it. Yep. There it is. There it is. So, yeah, hoping that all these crumbs don't get into everything. Keyboard. Well, that's going to take some big cleaning, but I dare not touch it because I may close off the stream by accident. How did the X keys do? X keys did fine. Mouse did okay. You're the one that set it up. That looks very clean. You're probably wondering what this is, and it's a roll of gaff tape that was covered up by some yellow gaff tape. You're probably wondering what this is. It's a paper towel roll made out of cardboard, covered with red gaff tape. Good props are hard to find. Oh my gosh, you guys tear me up. You tear me up. So I am making my plans for NAB. Missed last year and missed having a Streaming Idiots meetup, so we'll do that next spring, mid-April sometime. If you're planning on NAB, go ahead and buy your make your hotel reservations and your plane reservations early. Don't worry about buying a ticket to the show, because we'll have 1,000 places where you can get free tickets. And that's why they're still together after all these years. So there. So yeah, make NAB part of your destination in the spring, and we'll hang out together. And I'll even treat you to some bugles. How about that? How about that? Well, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. Oh, one more thing from OG. That is a whole nother conversation, because the perspective that you're coming from, and this is not a criticism, but just an observation, is a OBS XSplit perspective. The perspective I'm coming from is a vMix perspective, and things that do very well with OBS or very well with XSplit may not be exactly fine-tuned for vMix, and that's what we have to find out. Some of it, the vMix guys are going to have tested, and they're going to be able to say, yes, you can do this, but not this, or you can do this and this. But, they can't test every possible combination of components. And so, we'll try to do some of that here. I've got a bunch of old video cards here that we can test around, and some old CPUs. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Sit tight. It'll be okay. It'll be fun. We'll have bugles. All right. Good. I'm glad we got that settled. So, loved hanging out with you guys. See you next week. Go have a snack.